And we are here on the Tony Special with Raven Snook, her second visit to the neighborhood on our Tony Specials. And today she's here. By the way, she is, I should mention, the editor of TDF Stages. That's the Theater Development Fund magazine that they put out. And also, she is a nominator of the Drama Desk. She's on that committee. How many shows did you have to see this year, on or off?
Well,
Yeah.
I only just joined last month, so I don't know, but I think it's going to be upwards of about 230.
230 shows over the
Yep.
course of 300. I used to do that,
Yeah.
but I'm looking forward to it. That's exciting.
I figured I'm seeing about that many shows anyway, so I might as well be a nominator.
Makes total sense. You're also a critic for Time Out New York, which is kind
Right.
of great. And we're thrilled to have Raven back in the neighborhood to talk about actress in a featured role in a play. And so here are the nominees. There's Quincy Tyler Bernstein for Doubt. There's also Juliana Canfield and Sarah Pidgeon, two different actresses for Stereophonic, Celia Keenan-Bolger for Mother Play, and Cara Young for Pearly Victorious. So take it away, Raymond.
Well, first off, I want to say there are no duds in this category. I think everyone totally deserves their spot. There were some, I wouldn't say egregious, but there were some people I wish I could have seen on this list. For featured actress in a musical, there's 7 nominees because there were ties. So here there are only 5. There were no ties. And I wish there had been a tie so we could have fit in Zoe Kazan, who is the only person from Doubt, a Parable, who was not nominated. And I thought she was really fantastic. And then one of my personal favorites, and I interviewed her, and she's phenomenal, Frances Benhamou. She made her Broadway debut in Prayer for the French Republic, reprising a role she'd done off Broadway with, it must have been at least a 15-minute monologue in the center. That was really just an incredible piece of work in terms of writing and acting. So I am a little sad not to see them, but I can't say that there's anyone on this list I would kick off. So it's not an easy swap. So I'm going to just start at the beginning.
Please, please.
So Quincy Tyler Bernstein is an incredible actress who's been doing amazing work off Broadway for, it feels like decades. I don't quite know. It may not quite be 2 decades, but she's an amazing actress. And she was wonderful in this role in Doubt. It's just one scene, but it is a hell of a scene. And when Doubt had its original production, Adrienne Lennox won the Tony Award for featured actress for the part. But I've got to say, I don't think it's going to be her year. This is just a stacked list, which brings me to the 2 Stereophonic nominees. Now, Stereophonic, there's 7 actors in that play, and 5 were nominated. And it just really begs the question why the Tony Awards have not instituted a Best Ensemble Award. This happens every year. There's always a musical or a play. You look at Six, or you look at, like when Billy Elliot, when they honored all 3 boys. I guess that's not ensemble. I'm kind of getting off there. But the thing is, there's always a show where you feel like they either can't nominate anyone because everybody was great and they all had about the same amount of part, or that they don't nominate anyone. And I really wish Stereophonic had been the year where they said, we're finally going to do Best Ensemble, but they didn't. And I kind of think that Juliana Canfield and Sarah Pidgeon will cancel each other out. Now, this may not happen. And I think if one of them were to win, it would be Sarah Pidgeon. Her character is the one that has, I think, the biggest evolution of all the characters in the play. And it really is a spectacular performance. She also, both she and Juliana sing, but her singing is just phenomenal. So, in a play.
Yeah.
So I think
her Broadway debut, and she won the Theater World
yes.
Award for debut this week for that role. So yeah,
I think it's possible that she will win. Going on, Celia Keenan-Bolger, she's great. She already has a Tony. I would say that in Mother Play, even though she did a really good job, she has the least showy role. I kind of don't think it will be her year to get a second Tony, and I think she would probably agree with that. Which brings me to Cara Young. And this is the person I'm going to champion for the role. This is the person I think absolutely should win. not just because she was brilliant and Pearly Victorious and was so funny and did slapstick, which was something I didn't know she was capable of, but this is her third year in a row being nominated as Best Featured Actress in a Play. And every year she has brought something completely different to the stage. You know, first it was Clyde's, where she was funny. I mean, but not funny in the way she is in Pearly Victorious. And then Cost of Living, where she was absolutely harrowing as a caretaker who's fallen on hard times. I mean, she's not a caretaker. She becomes a caretaker because she's fallen on hard times. And then in this, I mean, I just thought, oh, well, you know, she's kind of funny. She'll be funny. She was so funny. And this is a part originated by Ruby Dee. And you can see a version of Ruby Dee's performance. There is a movie of Pearly Victorious. It's called Gone Are the Days. It's available on YouTube. I watched it when I came home. I was curious to see her in it. I feel like between the 3 nominations in a row for such different parts, just the great work she's been doing. She also does lots of work off Broadway, and is going back off Broadway in the fall. You know, she is just spectacular. And you can see, so her show is closed, which is always not great, but it is streaming on PBS for free. So people can remind themselves of how brilliant she was. So I think it's going to be her year. But if I'm wrong, it's going to be Sarah Pigeon. That's my guess.
Yeah. Again, PBS's Great Performances is the place you can watch Pearly Victorious. But let's move away from that category to ask Raven Snook, hey, of all the shows that you saw on or off Broadway this whole season, when we saw more than 200, what are one or two of your absolute favorites?
So we're only well, I didn't see 200 on Broadway. Are we talking on and off, or are we only talking on Broadway?
Or off,
I mean,
even.
So I'm going to be boring and say that I, like everyone else pretty much, I just adored Merrily We Roll Along. I first saw it actually the season before because it started at New York Theater Workshop, but it's one of my favorite music. You know, it was always one of these, it's my favorite flawed musical. And then I feel like it's almost pretty much not flawed anymore. I mean, they really, Maria Friedman's direction, I think she's going to take the Tony Award for Best Director of Musical. Just she found ways of smoothing over the things that have not worked in the past. And then that coupled with this incredible casting, the chemistry between the 3 of them, it was just phenomenal. I loved Appropriate. I was sad that I had not seen it off Broadway because there were cast members in that production I really admire who I would have liked to have seen those roles, but I thought it was just incredible. I love Stereophonic, and shout out to a fellow Sarah Lawrence alum. We both went, David Edgemy and I went to Sarah Lawrence together. We didn't really know each other, but like we went at sort of the same time.
He's
you know,
probably going to get the Best Play Tony on that.
Oh, I think he is. And honestly, I think it's possible that Stereophonic will get Best Score. And if it does, I will be cackling. I mean, it's so crazy to me they won't let them perform songs at the Tonys, and I hope that that decision is revisited. I understand it's not a Best Musical nominee, but it is a Best Score nominee, and I mean, come on, guys, like those songs are freaking great.
Oh, cool.
And then I guess I just want to say a few shout outs that I'm really excited this summer to see 3 shows I saw off Broadway come to Broadway. Oh, Mary, Cola Squola Show. They are just so funny and brilliant in the show, and it's just a total hoot. And I'm really, it's like,
you want to say what Oh Mary is about?
Oh Mary is old school queer theater on Broadway, folks. It's about Mary Todd Lincoln in the weeks leading up to the assassination, and it's a farce and a comedy. I don't want to say more. Job is coming. This is like appropriate. Is it appropriate or appropriate?
Job?
I don't know. I don't know if it's Job or Job. I think it's Job. But Job is coming to Broadway. It's a great, very twisty, well-written 2-person play, 1-act play, with Peter Friedman and Sydney Lemon, who's Jack Lemon's granddaughter and is quite an actress. I was not aware of her before. I don't want to say more except that somebody who lost their job and is hoping to get it back goes to the psychiatrist that needs to clear her. It's pretty great. And then Once Upon a Mattress with Sutton Foster. It was definitely one of the best things I saw off Broadway. It was at Encores, and I'm so happy that it's coming to Broadway so more people can experience it. I mean, that's a role that just is, you know, it's perfect for her. you forget, it's not that you forget Carol Burnett, but she puts her own spin on it, and it's just wonderful.
Oh, yay. And Raven Snook is just wonderful to have in the neighborhood on these Tony shows because she's so prepared. She knows so much. She's seen
I
so
have notes.
and she has notes. Speaking of notes, last question for you though. How do people get TDF stages? And tell us about the magazine. What do you do for it and what's in it?
Okay, so TDF, we're known. I mean, our biggest public facing program is the TKTS booth in Times Square that anybody can go to and get discount tickets. But we also have a lot of programs. We are nonprofit, and our programs are all about making the theater accessible to all. So we have programs for students to see shows for free, for veterans to see shows for free, for people with physical disabilities to see shows with certain kinds of accommodations like open captioning or audio description or American Sign Language. TDF Stages is another program, and it's of TDF where I write. It's like a culture blog. You can just go to tdf.org. Just scroll down. It's on the homepage. There's a link. And one of the things that we try to do is really let people know what's out there, what's playing beyond just doing listings. So I do a lot of curated roundups by the month of off-Broadway shows to let people know all the things happening off-Broadway. I do Broadway previews like everyone else, but I think that we cover off and off Broadway in ways that really aren't happening anymore, which is kind of sad to me. But we curate and tell you these are the things that sound like good bets, and we don't just do the ones that we sell at discount prices. We tell you about everything. So, but of course, we sell many hundreds of shows a day at discount prices to our members.
Wow. Well, speaking of someone who knows and researches everything, Raven Snook, just delightful to have you in the neighborhood. What do you? Last question.
Yeah.
Are you watching the Tonys on TV? Do you have a Tony party? What do you do on Tony night?
So I'm just gonna watch it on TV. We used to do we would sort of vlog it live, but we're not doing that this year. I'm just gonna watch it at home and enjoy myself and be able to yell and scream at my leisure, depending on who wins or loses. I will say I entered our Tony pool. I am always almost dead last. So this year I told them I know I'm terrible at predicting what will win. So I take everything I said today with a grain of salt, although I feel fairly confident in this category that it's one of the two I mentioned. I will say I asked them to institute a prize for least right. So hopefully they'll get me like a $5 Dwayne Reed gift card or something.
Nice.
That's what I hope.
Always right having Raven Snook in the neighborhood. Thank you so much and happy Tonys to you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye now.